Anybody that's been following the channel knows that one of the things that I'm going to be building relatively soon, hopefully, is going to be a CNC mill. Basically, it's going to be a desktop, tabletop, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be about 3 feet by 3 feet. Height is going to be, I don't know, maybe two feet. And I'm going to build it very, I don't know what you want to call it. I'm going to try to make it as rugged as I possibly can. I'm going to be using some pretty thick steel just to make sure I can try to drown out any vibrations. Or for the most part, I mean, I know you'll never be able to drown them all out, even on the big, milling centers. You can't drown every one of them out. But the point is, I'm not building this to mill wood and aluminum. I want to be able to mill everything. So, that being said, one of the issues about the milling machine is going to be the spindle and how to drive it. So at my shop where I work, they ended up throwing away a hardened CNC lathe, and I got 2 of these motors out of them. Hang on, let me shut the light off, might be easier to see. Could be wrong. Anyway, it's a 3000 RPM, 1.2 horsepower, pretty beefy motor. I don't know much about it, other than it's got some good specs. It's 180 volt, and like I said, it was in a hardened big slant lathe. And these moved, I'm not quite sure on which axis these moved, but there was 3 of these motors. I was almost going to say this, the tool turret, but no, I think that was hydraulic. I mean, that thing was huge. It was a monster. In fact, I've got the 2 smallest power supplies out of it, and those things have to weigh 100 pounds each. Anyway, off topic. So yeah, I think I'm going to use this motor here for the motor to drive the spindle. Now, as far as the spindle goes, I'm considering building the spindle. Now, that said, I know that comes with its own, inherent problems. First and foremost, I know there has to be a hole all the way through. You need a drawbar, and probably make it for an R8 collet, or something like that, like a Bridgeport style. Hold on. Something like this, where you've got the drawbar going all the way through the head, coming down, and this just slides up in. So you take all you really have to do is put this angle inside of the spindle to make it, adapt for an R8 collet, which I don't really think it'll be that complicated. Of course, I always say that, and then it ends up being an absolute freaking nightmare. There is a couple other options I have. These here are very, very expensive spindles. This is a low Wetzlar German spindle. but I believe this is a low speed. This is very high precision. This is for glass grinding. This one, however, this is a Drawbar grinding spindle. This is a 15,000 RPM spindle, and I don't know, I was trying to think of a way to possibly adapt an R, not an R, and of course I don't have one in here. Well, one of these ER style, like an ER16 or whatever style collet. If I can adapt it onto this spindle, this again is a very high precision spindle, but I don't know as far as the forces go. It's meant for grinding, so I have to assume it might be able to take the forces. But for some reason, every time I assume this stuff, it ends up biting me where the sun don't shine. So, that leaves the other option. I've got all sorts of bearings here, and I don't mind actually buying other ones if I have to. But I was figuring if we used these, you know, one on each end, just like a lathe head unit, preloaded it, 1-inch shaft and 1-inch shaft going through, I can't see why that wouldn't work. Yeah. Bear in mind, I am just kind of talking out loud with who's ever willing to listen. That said, I don't mind buying the angular contact bearings as well if I think, you know, that's a better step. There is spindles for sale on, you know, eBay or any one of those, and the thing with those spindles is they're extremely high speed. You know, if you look at them, they run, you know, between 18 and 24,000 RPM, and for steel you're not going to go that fast, and I don't want to spend, you know, $200-300 on a spindle that isn't going to do what I want it to do, or if it does what I want it to do, it's not going to last. You know what I mean? I'm sure it'll be wonderful in aluminum, and it'll be great in wood and plastic and all the other stuff, but that's not what I want. I want something that I can use for everything, including steel, stainless steel, just whatever I have to cut, I can cut. This is the other motor that I have for this system. I'm not sure how well you guys can see this. Basically, this I believe is a 90 volt DC 1800 RPM 3/4 horse. This is the other option that I have. I suppose there's also this 5 horsepower 3-phase ball door, but I don't know. I get the sneaky feeling that might be a bit of an overkill. And of course, Old Faithful here and there. Yeah. I don't know, I wanted to get your guys' opinion, see what you thought. Maybe you guys know something else out there that maybe I overlooked. But as far as a motor and spindle goes, I suppose those are the two things that I'm reluctant to commit to, if that makes sense. Just because generally when you want a wide range of applications, it's hard to get that. Anyway, alright guys, have a good one, and if you live anywhere near me in this New England weather, stay cool, because it's hot as heck out there. Later.